In 2022, the Backrooms took the internet by storm. You couldn't go on one social media platform without seeing that iconic yellow wallpaper somewhere. And that was greatly in part to Kane Pixels' incredible Backrooms series, which has now been adapted into a movie. But this video isn't about that movie. In fact, at the time of writing the script, the movie hasn't even been released yet. But trust me, as bad as the Backrooms movie may or may not be, what I am about to show you is far worse. American Horror Story is a horror series that takes on a different story each season. I haven't seen any of it, but apparently it's quite good. American Horror Stories, I'm not kidding by the way, is a spin-off series that instead focuses on a unique story every episode. I also haven't seen any of it, but apparently it's quite horrible. And in 2024, during the show's third season, they decided to try taking their own twist on the Backrooms. And oh boy, this is something special. Alright, so the episode starts with our main character, Daniel Hausman Berger. A successful screenwriter getting confronted by his friend for becoming extremely distant and isolated after the disappearance of his child. Now, I gotta say, the acting here is pretty good, but as you'll continue to see, there were some interesting choices made when writing the dialogue.
The world is over. It's over. Out there is just a cardboard cutout of the world with people reciting lines at my face. I can't interact with those. They're not people, they're empty entities.
Daniel gets fed up, leaves the room, and then mysteriously enters a massive grocery store, which is clearly the Backrooms. Now, I gotta give credit where credit is due. This is pretty sick. The transition, the ambience, the way everything is just off, almost too normal to be real. It really is quite well done. Congratulations, American Horror Stories, you get a point. Daniel wanders around the supermarket confused for a bit until he finds an assistance button, which causes everything in the supermarket to go crazy, completely ruining the ambience and killing the tension. Daniel walks around until he finds a locked door with black goo coming out of the bottom, and then turns around to see his son wearing a mask who gets escorted away by a bigger mask person. And then he's back in the real world, no strings attached. I know some people are going to be annoyed considering a very commonly agreed upon thing about the Backrooms is once you're inside there's no way to escape, not easily at least. But remember, Kane Pixels Backrooms were escapable, so I'm willing to give American Horror Stories the benefit of the doubt for this one. Daniel gets a call from that same guy we saw in the beginning who reveals that in the short time Daniel was in the Backrooms, 3 real-life weeks passed. Not a bad twist.
Nice job, team.
Anyway, Man asks Daniel to come to lunch because he has important news. Daniel's missing son is confirmed dead. Also, this is Daniel's ex-wife, by the way. Despite receiving this shocking news, Daniel doesn't seem too fazed at all by this and continues to maintain his pessimistic worldview.
Do you know we invented hell? We made it. We manifested it.
Okay.
Daniel leaves because he needs some space and is then transported into a much more familiar looking Backrooms. Oh my god guys, look! It's the wallpaper! Again, credit where credit is due, this set is pretty cool, but unfortunately, there is almost zero attempt to build any type of tension or atmosphere.
Hey! What the fuck?
Daniel walks around, crawls through this hole, and finds these doors which lead into a pitch black room with a TV and tons of robes and masks covering the ground. The show then does some artistic stuff by having a big feast appear behind them, and then he pulls an Oscar out of a turkey.
And the Oscar goes to Daniel Hausman Berger.
All of the masks that were on the ground come to life and start applauding. I assume the mask people are meant to be characters from The Chorus, Daniel's award-winning movie that we see a poster of at the beginning of the episode, but I don't know, man, this could literally be anything. Daniel drops the Oscar and then gets chased through the backrooms by the masked people and then sees his son again, who ominously points at Daniel and says, "You." Because subtlety doesn't exist in this universe, apparently. And then he's back in the real world again. So we pretty much already know the big plot twist of this episode, but we still know nothing about the backrooms themselves. Most Backrooms media likes to keep things unknown for the most part, as it contributes a lot to the horror of the Backrooms. American Horror Stories naturally doesn't understand this at all, and we are blessed with some of the best scenes this episode has to offer. Daniel is desperately trying to find any information about what's been going on using the iconic web browser searchforthings.com, and despite searching up place outside of reality, hallucinations, he actually succeeds and finds a video of some guy talking about his experience with the Backrooms, and I'm just gonna let you hear this guy for yourself.
Liminal space. It's the area between here and there. Here being reality, there being anywhere else.
That's right, the lore master of the Backrooms is naturally a fucking Redditor. Redditor managed to get a functioning camera into the Backrooms taking footage of the same stuff Daniel saw, so Daniel sends him an email, and then it just cuts to them meeting up in prison. Okay, I'm really trying not to nitpick too much, but how would he have been able to successfully contact Redditor through email? Does he just have a phone in prison or something? Anyway, they start talking and we get the very typical massive lore dump that explains everything about the mysterious horror thing while trying to dumb it down as much as possible, with some truly exceptional dialogue.
What we're experiencing is a form of temporal phasing, in which one bypasses the normal boundaries of spatial reality.
Like a kind of purgatory where I'm being sent to pay for my sins?
I don't speak that language. I know science, that's all.
Now, traditionally, the way you would enter the Backrooms is by accidentally no-clipping out of reality. Basically, you just get insanely unlucky. Well, American Horror Stories decided to take their own twist on things.
The social contract. The rules that exist for being a member of this species. When a person breaks those rules, they can disconnect from our collective perception of reality.
TLDR, if you lie about something long enough, you'll eventually start to enter the Backrooms. But only if you're lying about something evil? I don't know, it's not very fleshed out. Now you might be wondering what heinous act Redditor could possibly have done to end up in the Backrooms. I'm just gonna play this clip for you.
It was 6:49 a.m. I ran a red light. I was trying to, click on a link to claim a coupon for dog food.
Redditor lied, saying it was an accident, and told everyone he knew that it wasn't his fault, so he started entering the Backrooms. He reveals that the only way to stop this is by confessing to whatever you did, which is the reason why he's in prison. Gee, I wonder what evil act Daniel could have possibly done. He heads home, has a breakdown, and the police pull up to his house because... no. He was the one who killed his son? He gets called by his friend who tells him the jig is up, and we get an admittedly pretty cool sequence where Daniel starts clipping in and out of the Backrooms as he continues to deny his involvement. Naturally, with this show, what goes up must come down, and we get this stupid slow-mo shootout scene where we finally see what drove Daniel to kill his son. His wife annoyed him, and his son annoyed him. Yup, that's it. The Redditor conversation was so long, it took up all of the time to establish Daniel's backstory. So Daniel is on the brink of death but is sent to the Backrooms again, except fully healed from his gunshot wounds. This time it's just a big escalator leading down to the swing set where he killed his son. There's this weird demon woman holding his son who talks to him. I don't know, man, they're just doing random bullshit now. The masked people show up again, and Daniel continues lying about loving his son to try and escape, promising he'll tell everyone the truth if he gets let out. The masked people guide him to an exit door which leads to a waiting room where Daniel needs to wait a very long time. And the episode ends. Wait a minute, hold on, is that the 64-bit integer limit? Elite reference detected. American Horror Stories, I take back every bad thing I said about this episode. Infinite points added. 20th television wins! But for real though, this is one of the worst depictions of the Backrooms I have ever seen. I mean, sure, some of the stuff on YouTube Shorts is way worse, but at least they didn't waste a $4 million budget, you know. The acting isn't terrible, but the writers just missed everything that made the Backrooms. It really feels like they just saw the original picture, the description of the liminal space subreddit, the idea of slipping outside of reality, and that's about it. Now, I'm all for taking your own spin on things. Kane Pixels definitely took a lot of unique approaches with his work, but at the same time, there's definitely wrong ways to do things. First of all, making the Backrooms a sort of hell that punishes evil people and torments them just doesn't work. All of a sudden, you've taken this extremely mysterious and unique concept and almost normalized it. It's still strange, but it's no longer the Backrooms. It's just another avant-garde depiction of hell to add to the pile. Redditor is also just another addition that solely hurts this episode. I mean, the entire lore master character archetype has always hurt mystery and horror media, but so much of what makes the Backrooms great is that fear of the unknown. What is this place? Why am I here? How do I get out? These are questions that should not be answered. It doesn't help when everything else in this episode isn't good. The twist isn't surprising, Daniel has almost no real backstory at all and is just angry with the world and his son, apparently. The acting is alright, but is plagued with bad dialogue, and anytime they get close to creating a suspenseful scene, something comes in, kills the tension, and just ruins everything. Overall, I give this episode a negative 64-bit integer limit out of 10. Anyways, the A24 Backrooms movie is probably out by now, and I really hope that it's good. Kane Pixels, I have nothing but absolute faith in you. Thanks for watching this video. The last film review I did on this channel didn't go too well, but I've been wanting to talk about this ever since I watched it last year. And now that the Backrooms hype has finally returned for a bit, now couldn't be a more fitting time. Subscribe if you want to, join the community Discord below, and I hope to see all of you next time. Bye.